welcome back. Like I said in the last video, I'm going to try tackling this mini spool as well as the line lock kit today and maybe a little bit of tuning. We're going to start with the mini spool, which I've got right here. That should slip right into the rear end here. And to do that, there's quite a bit of junk going on here, and with this airbag kit, it brings my rear axle kind of where I can't reach it. So I'm going to go ahead and unbolt these bags here, and we're going to lift the frame right off of the rear axle there a little bit, give me a little more room to work, and that way I can get that cover off of there. So as you can see, I've got the truck up in the air. I got all the bolts off of the diff here. See if I can pop this cover off. Oh, wow, that didn't go like I thought it would. Made a little bit of a mess. Things look pretty good in here. I should be able to pop the pin right out of here. And then basically I should be able to shove my axles in just a little bit. I've got the tires off already. I'm going to pull the brake drums. And I should be able to shove that, pull the C-clips off the inside of these shafts here. And then that'll allow me to pull all these spider gears out. This pin should slip right out here. There it comes. It's got flat sides on it. I'll have to bend it a little more. Here we go. Right there like that. It's got the hole for the bolt on the one side. And then there's my C-clip. Right there. So there's one. Just like that. And there's that C-clip. Push that axle out. Now if I push them out enough, these gears should come right on out. Slip over like this. There we go. There's one of them. There we go. There's the other one. And I should be able to slip those two side gears out now. Now if you want to do a poor man's spool, you just weld these gears. But I'd like to have the option of throwing them back in if I don't like the spool. Here we go. There's that one. That one might need a little persuasion. And there it is. Probably not the way you want to do it. I'm assuming this thing probably got pretty warm at one time and it was stuck in that race there. There's the shim. So now we're all set to go ahead and install that spool. Let me grab that, see if we can't slide that thing in there. Here we go. There we go. We got to put our C-clips back in. That's a tight fit. There it goes. Now for the other side. Oh, okay. That's easier. It should be lining up pretty good. Oh, yeah. Well, there we go. That's all I gotta do yet is tighten this thing down. Okay. So that should do her. We've got a mini spool. Nice. 2-tire fire, baby. Everything's cleaned up here. Let's throw this cover back on. I'm using the Right Stuff gasket maker. Go ahead and throw a few bolts in here. All the bolts are in. I just got to torque them all down, fill this thing up, and I can hook everything back up back here. So I'm going to do that, and we'll move on to the front where we're going to start installing that line lock kit. Alright, now it's time to tackle the line lock kit that I got. I believe this was one I just got off of Amazon or whatever. They sell a similar one with Summit, Jags I believe, and all that, but it gives you a whole bunch of fittings with this kit. Bunch of brass fittings like that. Since I'm going to be hooking it to my rear line, I want to be able to lock out the rear so that I got no pressure going to the rear when I'm going to do a burnout. And then I still can work the front brakes with my brake pedal. But the rear line on these is a lot bigger than some of these fittings they give you. They did give me some lines with that kit as well. And I found this adapter to go into the proportioning valve. Now, I haven't seen a ton of info online about whether it be before or after the proportioning valve, but I'm pretty sure it needs to be after, because if you stab the pedal and you have no pressure to the rears before the proportioning valve, it'll trip the valve. So we're going to install it after that valve. I'm going to come off of the proportioning valve with this, and it'll come to the inlet, which is the top. I don't know why they give you so many options on this thing, but the top port on the solenoid here. And then I believe all three of these bottom ones are all outlets. So I just need the one outlet, which I'll use this one. I'm going to mount it down on the fender here. This one will go to the rear. And that should be it. Then all I got to do is wire in the switch they gave me, a light for on the dash that shows you if it's on or not, as well as an inline fuse for the power. Okay, so I got the line lock all installed. Here's my engine bay. I'm going to go ahead and show you how I did this. I mounted it right over here on the fender by the battery, mostly because I ran from my master cylinder here through my proportioning valve right down there. I had to do some adapting right here, and I ran that line over to the line lock here. So the in part of the line lock is this top one, and then there's the three bottom ports that are all outlets. So it gets fed right here from the proportioning valve, and then I just use this one port on the side here and plug these two. So, and it goes out on that one. And that I just ran to my line that goes to the back wheels. And I just basically used the line that was going to the proportioning valve before, cut it right there, reflared the end, and hooked that line to that. Power wire, ground wire. Power wire I ran over into the cab here. The power wire just goes to one side of the switch, along with the power side of the light, and then the other side of the light goes to ground as well. And then the only other connection you need is from the second connection on the switch, which goes to your power. So that's 12 volts, and then the other wire from the switch goes to power up the solenoid and the light. Now it looks like my light doesn't work. I'll have to throw a new light in to make sure I don't got something wrong. But that's basically it. And then I re-bled my brakes out back here, and we're all good to go. One thing I couldn't find much info on, other than in comments on other people's videos, where if you plumb these lines the correct way that it's supposed to go, it still allows fluid through. And so the problem I ran into was I could push on the brake and with the line lock solenoid shut, and it would still allow my rear brakes to compress. Apparently, you got to switch these two lines around. So instead of using this top port as your inlet and the bottom port as your outlet to the rear wheels, I now have the inlet from the proportioning valve at the bottom there, which is normally your outlet, and my outlet is now what is normally the inlet, which is this top little port right here. And we'll test it out in a minute to see if that works or not. Like I said, I wanted to put it on my rear brakes, not on the fronts, so that I have zero pressure going to the rear. And to finish things off, I went ahead and got this toggle switch and an LED light. So now it's just on, and then I can switch it off like that. But I think we're at the point where we can test it out. I'll go ahead and set the camera up, but we'll be able to see if I fire the truck up, switch the line lock on, I should have no brakes back here. So I'll set the camera up about here-ish so you can see when that little light's on the dash. I shouldn't be able to stop these wheels, just the fronts will be holding. So let's see how she does. Okay, so it worked. As you can see, when I had the line lock on, I had no pressure to the rears. As soon as I turned it off, the brakes worked back here again, so that means it's all plumb the way I want it. So you're not going to see this too often. I'm currently in the process of trying to download another tune here. So now we have both tires turning in the rear, we got line lock, hopefully a burnout tune that will allow things to work a little better. I don't have a high stall torque converter, you know, I don't have fancy rear gears or nothing, but hey, why not give it a try, right? So, looks like it's complete. I should have rode it to the vehicle now. The next step, I guess, would be to go try it out. Okay, well, thanks for watching. We obviously had a lot of fun making this video. If you haven't yet, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. And we will see you on the next one.